January 5th, 1757 AD, the failed assassination of Louis XV. On January 5th, 1757 AD, the King of France, Louis XV, survived an assassination attempt while getting into his carriage in the courtyards of the Grand Trianon. His would-be assassin was a crazed man named Robert-Francois Damiens, who forced his way through the king's royal guards and stabbed Louis XV in the side with a small knife. The king told his guards to detain him, but not to hurt the man. He then walked back into the chateau Trianon and passed out from a loss of blood. His personal physician was called to the chateau to look over the wounded king. Thanks to his heavy winter coat, it prevented the knife wound from being fatal. Before he was treated by his doctor, he summoned a priest to hear his last confession because he thought he was going to die. His concerned wife, Queen Marie, went to see her husband. He confessed to her his many adulterous affairs and begged for her forgiveness. His would-be assassin, Robert-Francois Damiens, was taken away by the guards and immediately was charged with regicide. While in custody, he was tortured for days to reveal what his motives were for trying to kill the king and to see if he had any other accomplices or was involved in a much larger assassination plot. Robert-Francois refused to cooperate and was completely mad as a hatter. Robert-Francois was brought before court judges who sentenced him to death by publicly being drawn and quartered by 4 horses. He was also the last person in France to be executed in this manner. Robert-Francois Damiens was executed on March 28, 1757 AD. He was dragged out of his cell early that morning. He reportedly told one of his jailers, "The day will be hard." To start off that day's events, he was tortured by wearing boots. Boots were a pair of devices that had metal spikes that squeezed the victim's legs that it would crush their arches, causing them extreme pain. After they removed the boots, they tortured him with red-hot pincers. When they were finished with that, hot lead and wax was poured on the hand that held the knife he used to stab the king. Hours later, Robert-Francois was brought out for his public execution inside the public square of the Place de Rive. He was emasculated before his limbs were tied to 4 horses, as he was slowly being torn apart. But it was taking a bit too long for the court officials' liking, so they ordered his executioners to cut his tendons. When Robert-Francois was officially pronounced dead, his torso was publicly burned in a large bonfire along with his severed limbs. His ashes were later scattered into the wind. His house was razed, his parents and daughter were kicked out of France, and his siblings were forced to change their surnames. Louis XV quickly recovered from the assassination attempt, but it took a psychological toll upon him. After recovering from his knife wound, his royal courtiers welcomed him back. He addressed them, "Yes, the body is well," and pointed to his head. "But this goes badly, and this is impossible to heal."